Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen. I am so sorry for the wait. Thanks for everyone who was so patient while we were waiting in the lobby for this game to kick off. But we are here, finally, with Assail versus Mysterious Player from the JDL5. This is a Asia 2 division game, 2 point something. It doesn't really matter, they're all the same. And it's going to be, I think, quite an interesting game between these two teams. Team Assail with... let's have a quick look. There's something like 70 games recorded on the Join Dota website, and a pretty impressive win-loss ratio of 47 to 23. Mysterious Player, though, something of an unknown quantity here. The record is only 4 games long, 1 win, 3 losses. So at least going off those kind of statistics, the favourite here should definitely be Assail. Axeban and Juggernaut Ban coming out first. They're very, very standard in the meta right now. Juggernaut particularly, just because of the multitudinous ways that you can build him. He can be push, he can be carry, he can be early, he can be late. The Axe, yeah, okay, a lot of teams just don't like fighting Axe. He's one of those kind of unique heroes who do different kind of things and can play the game kind of very, very differently from most other heroes. So some people just don't like playing him. I wouldn't call him the strongest meta ban at the moment, but certainly a fair enough ban. The Terrorblade, though, now when Terrorblade was first released, everyone was terrified. You know, the push that you can dish out with the range damage on Metamorphosis, with all the illusions, is just ridiculous. His agility gain is incredibly high. He scales very, very well. I actually haven't seen him played very much at all, though. I'm not entirely sure why. He just never seemed to get picked up much, and it's a bit strange, therefore, to see Mysterious Player just choosing to ban it out immediately against a kind of established team like Assail. But c'est la vie. It could certainly come back and bite them in the ass if they don't ban it, and Assail get off some really hard farming, really late game Terrorblade build. Now the Vengeful Spirit that we see Mysterious Player picking up here is very, very in the metagame right now. I'm not... Well, get to the analysis in a sec, but basically what we're seeing a lot of is right-click buffs. So you're seeing Vengeful Spirit, you're seeing Troll, you're seeing Drow, you're seeing Ogre Mage. And it's strange because I've been chatting to a lot of my co-casters about this and why exactly we're seeing this so much in the meta right now. I mean, when you're stacking these kind of buffs, it works really well. You know, you can get Troll just going nuts, you can tear towers down in seconds, you can wipe out an entire team with right clicks during the duration of a Ravage stun. You know, some of the combos you're seeing these teams putting together are just so powerful. But what is it about the current metagame that makes this suddenly so popular? Why won't we see this at TI4? Are we going to see it at TI5? I don't know. Because the only real change that there's been in the metagame in terms of the actual updates recently is that certain buffs, such as Bloodseeker's Blood Rage, the Empower on Magnus, can now be put on a hero without being purged off when they pop their BKB. And that's what kind of kicked it off initially. And since then, you know, a lot of these heroes are getting buffs. Certainly, Vengeful Spirit, I think, had the armor reduction increased on Wave of Terror. But that said, it just doesn't seem to be enough to account for why suddenly all teams in all areas are just obsessed with right-click buffs. But anyway, I've talked enough about that now. Assail picking up the Dazzle and the Batrider probably means that they're going to go for a kind of a late game farming carry, and they're going to be looking to use the Batrider and either as a pack of 4 or a pack of 3 to just make a lot of space for them. One of the options they could be going here is Spectre. That's one of my personal favourites, because then of course you get the option to split farm the map, and then when a team fight kicks off, you just haunt him with the Spectre. And that works really well with the kind of mobility that Bat can bring, and you can have fights all over the map. Mysterious Player would not be able to feel safe at any point in the game. Mysterious Player, though, picking up the Lion. Most played hero at the Dota Asian 2 Championships, which ended very, very recently, with something that I thought I would never see, and sorry to all EG fans, but it was a win for an American team in a major tournament, and I'm sorry, but that hugely surprises me. I mean, well done, great job, guys, but it took me by surprise. But Lion picked up so much these days for I think the great thing about him is he can be such an aggressive support, but he can also be an absolutely brilliant defensive support. Whether you're going for just a huge amount of mana drain on certain key offlaners who really need that mana to be able to escape or stay close enough to farm. Oh, and I'm sorry, I have just had a message that I haven't got my in-game mic on, so I am popping that on now. This won't take 1 second. Apologies for anybody watching on Dota TV. In-game mic is now on. I apologise for that. And just to recap, we have got Dazzle and Batrider coming out for the Dire. That's Assail. And Vengeful and Lion coming out for Mysterious Player. So we get the core bans coming out now. Dazzle and Tide both banned out from Assail. Sorry, Dazzle and Tide, Drow and Tide banned out from Assail. And we see in the Drow their fear that Mysteria is going for this big, heavy, right-click oriented, everybody buffs each other lineup, where, you know, Vengeful and Lion would both be benefiting from the Drow aura, but Drow would also be benefiting from the Vengeful aura. Chuck a Troll on that, and you've got the damage and attack speed to do some serious face wrecking. Mysterious player, though, banning out the Brewmaster and the Medusa. The Medusa makes perfect sense. As I said, it does kind of look like Assail are looking to pick up... Oh, wow. Oh, sorry, I thought there was reserve time that Assail were almost out of. I was like, are they going to random their third pick? But no, we good. But yeah, in the Medusa ban, what we're seeing there is the fear that we're going to have a strategy from Assail where Dazzle with his heal and with Shallow Grave just keeps a really late game carry alive for the early and mid game. Batrider and a couple of other space creators are just ganking and really trying to slow down the Mysterious player game plan. And then suddenly late game Medusa turns out with all the farm in the world, wrecking face. So a good ban from them. The Brewmaster got a huge amount of play about 6 months ago. I'm not a huge fan. It would certainly be another great space creator. When you get Brew diving a tower with Batrider circling around behind, everything gets hugely confusing, and that would be great for farming up a late game carry for Assail. But I think there are scarier ones. Assail going for the Lycan, which is a great pickup in conjunction with the Dazzle. It's not quite the terrible early game, but really worth it for the late game farm carry that I was expecting Assail to go. As I said, I was expecting something more Spectre, maybe even a Morphling, something really squishy that needs a lot of protection. But Lycan Dazzle is also an amazing combo. The reason for that being Lycan runs up to the enemy, pops his wolves, Dazzle pops a healing wave down and bounces across all the wolves and the Lycan while they're really up close to the enemy. Does a huge amount of damage. The classic second support to go with that would be Shadow Demon. Then you can Shadow Demon and you disrupt, get the 2 disruption illusions, and the Lycan Wolves, and it bounces even more and does even more damage. You can get some pretty terrifying nuke straight off your supports, just like that. But as I said, it's not the late game that I was really expecting. It's obviously a very push-oriented hero, kind of vulnerable these days as well with the transformation time on his ult. And I guess that puts a bit of a time limit on it for Assail. They can't take this at 80 minutes now, not without another big carry here to scale alongside the Lycan. Mysterious player picking up the Storm Spirit. Another hero who benefits hugely from the Vengeful Spirit aura, I will say that. I'm not hugely in love with it though, so far. I think Storm into Bat is interesting. It gives them the same kind of gank potential that Assail have. But honestly, for my money, I'd rather have the Batrider. Storm Spirit's great and everything, but Batrider's just so flexible. So if I'm playing into a Batrider, I don't try and out-gank the guy, if that makes sense. I'll try and find some way to make myself immune to ganks. I'll try and find some way to, you know, the Dazzle pickup would be ideal, but Assail already have that. But something to keep my carries alive. The Vengeful Spirit is great because she can swap people out if they get lassoed. But I wouldn't go for a Storm Spirit personally, because that to me is just like saying, okay, we'll play the ganking game, but we're probably going to lose it. Assail picking up the puck, great mid, and wow, looking at the gank that they can dish out now. It's just a situation where Storm Spirit's kind of going to struggle. He'll be able to get pick off, sure, you know, pick up the Orchid, find someone alone, nuke in, nuke them down. That's great. But if Batrider is going on someone, Storm Spirit, I don't think is likely going to be able to help much. And even if he does, he's going to run into the puck, just, you know, orbing in and dropping the silence. Mysterious player though, picking up the Phoenix, and I like this. This does help out their Storm Spirit play a little bit. Because of course what they can do is Icarus dive in after the Storm Spirit, pop the ult potentially, wait for the Vengeful and the Lion to catch up, but it's something else that can jump in and help phase people out a little bit. Now, that said, I'm still feeling a little bit that I'd rather have the Batrider and the Puck than the Storm and the Phoenix. It's tricky. I think my ideal here would be Batrider and Phoenix, but that's because I just love fire. That's just me. Interesting bands. Viper bands comes out from Assail. Now, the Viper would have been a very interesting pickup here for Mysterious player. It would have meant that they had no significant late game scaling, because Viper, Storm, and Phoenix are all iffy in the late game. Very, very iffy. So I would have expected Mysterious Player to be going for a more of a scaling safe lane here. Assail picking up the Skywrath Mage on their last pick. That does leave them very, very low on lockdown. They've got the Lasso, and they've got the Dream Coil coming out from the puck. But other than that, they've just got slows. And that's not the greatest place to be against a Storm Spirit and a Phoenix. I will say that. They are really going to struggle to kill those heroes. That said, they do scale better, in my opinion. Pretty much all of it down on the Lycan, a little bit coming out of the puck as well. But depending on who Mysterious Player pick up here, I really think Assail can just try and play for the late game. Go for a split push Lycan, Necrobooks, BOTs. I think it's either got to be the split push Lycan, or they've got to go for a BKB Basher Lycan and get that up to an Abyssal as soon as possible for just a little bit more lockdown on the Storm Spirit. The other thing is they don't have a huge number of right clickers. They don't have any agility heroes, so getting the right clicks they need down on the Phoenix ult, if they want to try and pop it before it bursts, is going to be really, really tricky. And finally, the Ember Spirit pickup coming out for Mysterious Player. Interesting. And well, let me turn that around. The Mysterious Player had the better scaling here. And there we go, in the game. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. Let's get the Last is Denied chart up so I don't forget that. And this is a JDL, so traditionally we would have another pause here for about 30 seconds while someone goes to the toilet or something, but it looks like we're actually going to kick straight off. So alright, let's introduce the teams. Over on Mysterious Player, we have Lion, going to be played by Mr. D, that's the team captain I believe. Ember Spirit, going to be played by Triple Z. Phoenix heading up to the offlane, going to be played by Sayonara. We've got Storm Spirit, presumably heading over to the mid, but maybe not, as we see Ember Spirit heading that way. Going to be played by Kun, and Vengeful Spirit going to be played by Nakal. Over on the Dire, and I'm just having a quick look at the minimap, but it doesn't seem like we're going to have any big gank attempts or anything at 0-0. Yeah, but okay, over here on the Dire, we have Death taking the Dazzle. Lycan going to be played by Psionics. The Bat Rider going to be played by Lemonade. Puck, presumably going to the mid, going to be played by Zero Attitude, and finally the Skywrath Mage, going to be played by Vexus. Let's go for Vexus. Vexus, I like that. Vexus. Sayonara possibly getting a little bit far down here. Going to run into a fair few of these Dire heroes and the Lycan. They're forced to Icarus dive away, and that's going to slow them down a little bit. One thing I didn't mention in the draft, and I really should have done, of course, is the Skywrath Mage Silence is actually going to be hugely, hugely useful in terms of lockdown, keeping that Storm Spirit under control with this huge, huge duration and very quick cooldown time. So I was slightly wrong when they said they didn't have the tools they need. It's not just the Bat ult and the Puck ult. They've also got big, big silence on the Skywrath. I just hope it's going to be enough for them. And I think maybe an Orchid on the Puck wouldn't be the worst thing. So it does kind of look like Dire are just sacrificing their offlane to begin with, which is going to be early farm for that safe lane Storm Spirit, not the traditional lane for this guy, but with no opposition at all, at least for the first couple of waves. If Bat's just stacking the jungle, might head back very, very shortly. Oh no, it actually does look like he's just cliff farming. Interesting. But Storm Spirit is one of those heroes who, he may not scale great into the late game, but if he can get a huge farm edge early, if he can get his Orchid up, if he can get level, let me think, level 8, these kind of regions, long time before anyone else, that's terrifying. That's really, really terrifying. Triple Z taking a bit of harass over here on the mid. But honestly, if Assail are planning on just jungling this Bat for at least the first few waves of the game, I would be saying to Mysterious Player that what they should be doing is getting their supports out of this lane. For as long as possible, let Storm solo it, get up the XP as well as the gold, and let the supports really try and help out Ember Spirit mid, because he's not having the funnest time of his life here. First last hit of the game we just saw go down there. Puck sitting on 5 for 1. And sure, Ember Spirit's farm is going to pick up dramatically as he picks up a few more levels. Sleight of Fist becomes a little bit more spammable and effective, but I would still really like to be seeing just a little bit more thought in terms of what these supports are going to be doing. The other thing, of course, is I don't really think that getting this tier 1 bot down early is going to be a great thing for Radiant. It's one of those moves which gets you great early gold for everyone on the team, and that's all wonderful, but it means that the lane equilibrium means that by default the lane will be meeting about here. where they are now, rather than significantly further back halfway between the two tier 1s. So it does make this lane a little bit more dangerous, in a sense, for the Radiant team, even if they get the tier 1 down. Oh, an Icarus dive! Trying to take this Phoenix out, but she's really, really low, and with Skyroth coming in straight from the behind there. And there's first blood going down to Vexus. Well played there. Does end up falling himself, but that's no XP for the Phoenix. And either way, it's an off lane for a support. That was a great play from the Dire there. What they were making sure they were doing is having people wrap around from the back, so that even when the Icarus dive went down, when Phoenix was trying to escape, there'd be someone waiting there to pick them off. And that was the Skywrath Mage. Beautifully done. We did see Dazzle rotate down here to try and contest a little bit. It's an interesting choice. I'm not entirely sure I could explain it, but apparently position 3 Dazzle, ladies and gentlemen. Position 3 Dazzle. Batrider really does seem to be just a jungler. 700 gold, so he'll have Blink up in not too many more minutes if he wants to choose to just rush it. And we do have Mr. D currently rotating over to the mid. This is what I like to see. Storm doesn't need that much support down here in this safe lane, so make use of the supports elsewhere. And Sayonara, I think, maybe overestimating his tank ability and escapability a little bit up here. He's being brought very, very low quite a lot of the time. The Icarus dive cooldown at 20 seconds is not something really to play around with. And he's gone for a full-up Magic Wand before any kind of boots. Wow, that's huge nuke coming out from Skywrath Mage. Not going to be enough to get the second kill. But, oh, maybe. Oh, maybe. But that is an off-lane who is not going to be having a fun time up in this lane. Down on bot, we've also got Vengeful Spirit rotating out the safe lane now, covering the chain pulling going on in the jungle. That's what I like to see. And timing it really well. That would normally have been a little bit late for a chain pull, but taking into account the fact that it was the nasty goddamn ice ghost thing, that was a very neat pull there coming out from Nikal. What's Puck up to? Looks like he wants to go back to the mid, just continue farming up. Has got a haste rune right now, as well as a large part of his wand coming out, although not the wand itself. I mean, not the magic stick itself. And Dazzle backing up out of bot lane now, with Batrider heading back in, I wonder? Nope. Batrider still working in the jungle. Oh, and that is unlucky. A double Mud Golem stack here. That's really going to slow down his farm. Picked up about another 600 gold though since we were last looking at him, so yeah, it's certainly going to be a Blink Dagger fairly soon with him. He should have it by the time he gets 6 or that or thereabout, but so many Mud Golems. This is really unlucky. Like really, really unlucky. Oh, and Sayonara being brought hugely low again. This time does manage to get the Icarus dive out, and I don't think Dire have anything to chase that down. That was really close though, and the silence wearing off just in time for Sayonara to say sayonara. Actually, that works quite well. So I was saying, Storm Spirit down here on the bot with his complete free farm is kind of the scary one for me. He's got a point booster coming out now. Oh, and initiation on Triple Z on the mid, and that's another kill for the Dire here. Assail, I think, playing with higher skill overall, and they have to, because as I said, that Ember Spirit is going to secure Mysterious Player the late game scaling if Assail lets it get that far.
But it is important to the game.
And Lycan leading on last hits, followed by the Storm Spirit. That's fairly impressive, given that the Lycan has actually at least had an offlaner there to, you know, contest with. Ember Spirit sees his Puck, comes in, drops a Sleight of Fist, but Puck is easily out and on his way to the top rune. With a wand coming out now, as well as a TP, he's ready to rotate it down in case anything happens on the lanes. Vexus, with illusions, trying to put some pressure on this mid. Triple Z spots it out, and they go for it. The Hex is dropped as well. That was nicely done. Up on top lane, Phoenix versus Lycan. Now this is much more comfortable for the Phoenix. Just the Lycan to worry about. That is beautiful. Can finally get out some last hits, can get in there, and actually I think has a fair chance of forcing the Lycan out of lane. As the initiation goes down on the mid, the silence should be dropped by Vexus. Oh no, he was just chased out by the Lion there. So a lot of hanging around at mid for not a huge amount of payoff. Down on the bot lane, we have got I think a level 6. Oh, level 6 Storm Spirit heading top. Wants to try and catch down this Lycan with the ult popped. Not sure that's going to happen though. Yeah, Lycan sensing the problems involved in that TP and immediately backing off. Kun actually wants to chase down this Bat Rider and ends up running into Storm Spirit as well in the jungle. He's silenced, he's right-clicking, but this is hugely aggressive and he's finished off without too much problems with Lycan rotating in for a bit of assist gold as well. Missed the Lion kill on the Puck, which was just going down at top rune, so that's 2 for 3. And things happening all over the map right now. This is interesting. As I said, I definitely think Assail are playing better right now. Some nice kills, some nice ganks, but it's not completely one-sided. And they really do need to get a convincing win on this early game. Ember Spirit, scary farm, particularly into Lycan Wolves. One of those situations where you can actually make it worse for your team if the Ember Spirit goes Battle Fury and crit, and you've got the Wolves out, and they give him just more opportunities to drop crits on the rest of your team.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Now we do have a Invis Dazzle here. Not the best hero for getting a kill with an Invis. He'd really like some big slows. But if Skywrath Mage can get down... Oh, as Nakal brought huge elo up here on top lane, this will be another kill. And Skywrath Mage already finishing Phoenix up on this top lane. Wow, and Ember Spirit does go down to the Dazzle Puck over on the mid. Missed that, but 3 kills in very short succession sees us at 2 for 6, and this is the kind of game that Assail want to be having. Oh, sorry, just seeing in the Twitch chat, apparently Mysterious player normally play a lot better than this. I'd certainly like to think so. Division 2 games don't normally go down quite that sharply. Big ancient stack coming out here from Dire now. That will be great food for the Lycan probably. Bat Rider of course not able to get the nice napalm tricks off on magic immune ancients. And Dire now going for the quick Roche. Does Dazzle have... Yeah, I was going to say Dazzle with Medallion. This is going to fall very quickly. Vexus hanging around on top lane. Looks like they want to go for this. We get the lasso going down on Sayonara. They've got the silence coming out as well when it's done. And that's easy kills, boys. Easy kills. The benefit there going down to Bat Rider, and we've got Lycan picking up the Aegis as well. So this is kind of a situation where Assail can now just start turning the heat on, and they don't need to slow down. Psionics just going to farm up here. And a quick pause coming out from Sayonara there on the Phoenix. And immediately go again, which is nice. That was our, as I said, in a JDL game you've always got to have at least one pause. That's kind of the tradition. Over on the mid, attitude possibly caught out a little, being a bit too aggressive here with the Lion rotating in and finished off. Just enough damage and crowd control coming out there from the Lion Ember Spirit combo. Just enough. Death losing some mana there to the Lion. But actually with that Puck down they can't... Oh, no. I was going to say I don't think Dire can do what they really wanted to do, which was just start pushing lanes and being hugely aggressive, but it seems they can, as Lycan and Skywrath just nuke down that Storm Spirit. I did not think they would have the time to do the damage that they need based off just that Skywrath silence, but with the Skywrath ult, with Lycan with the DD, they had plenty. And this is going to be bot tier 1 for sure for Radiant, for Dire rather. Although we do have Ina and Nakal rotating in, they get the Hex down on Vexus, as well as the finger, and Psionics actually kind of caught out a little bit here. Nope, he's now being the aggressor. No more stuns left on the Radiant, so that's an easy quick kill on Nakal. As soon as Lycan can get close. Meanwhile, we've got Lemonade Serenade chasing the Lion back under the tower, and with the Dire creep wave moving in, there's no reason not to dive it, but he doesn't need to. The DOT with the napalm strikes is enough. Over on the other lanes, we do have Phoenix pushing out top, just about to get onto the tower and start doing some damage, and Puck versus Ember carrying on as normal on mid. But that bot push was certainly big there for Assail. Lost to Skywrath Mage, got 2 of the support kills and a tower. That is definitely something you would take. And Bat Rider here looking to be cheeky. He wants to get this Storm Spirit. Dropping the pings, hoping he's got someone who can come in and help him here. I think they might choose to take the Ember Spirit over on the mid. Yeah, there we go. The lasso gets dropped. We've got TPs coming out from Radiant immediately though. Triple Z silenced as well. and nothing they can do is quick enough. Lycan rotating in here from the Radiant jungle as well. That's always nice to see. Phoenix Icarus dives off and ends up stunning himself off the Puck recoil. Vengeful dropping a stun on Dazzle, desperately trying to slow down this Radiant push, but the Puck is going to blink to this orb and is now ready to help out. We do have Storm Spirit rotating in here, the safe lane carry for Radiant, but Kun finished off as the Dire team just turn around and make him the focus. It's going to be Ina, Mr. D, taken out as well, and that's 4-0 now for player. This is a lead that they need. Nakal gonna make it a team wipe. A team wipe at 12 minutes, friends. Now we do have immediate respawns because the cooldowns are just so low, coming out from Triple Z as well as Sayonara on the Phoenix. But Psyonix popping his ult again. I think he's trying to bait this. Surely they won't fall for it though. They know the whole Dire team is here. Yeah. Phoenix and Ember just farming up the lane and then backing off. They're not going to try and chase down that Lycan. But beautiful play there from Assail. Not only the execution of, well, various parts of it. They got some nice kills. They got the Roshan. They got some good pickoffs. They had that nice push on bottom. But also just using that to snowball. Keeping the pressure up. Really taking advantage of even very short cooldown timers. You know, it only takes, 20 seconds? Certainly less than 30 for the entire Mysterious player team to respawn, and yet they're still using that time to snowball, take other towers, take other kills that they wouldn't normally be able to get. And Psyonix here just nuking down through this ancient stack using the Dazzle heals to help out a little bit. Pops Howl as well, and yeah, going to be able to take it no problem at all. This Lycan is really kind of scary. In fact, I'm going to open up the net worth because I think that's going to be where the real action is from here on out. Yeah, Lycan we see up on 8,000. The highest person on the Radiant team is Storm Spirit at 4.1k, and that is not where you want to be. Quick look at the items, graphs, things of that nature. In fact, no, hold that thought because we might have a Dire push coming out on top here. It all depends on whether Bat can get his blink off. Nope, okay. Things going to come down a little bit, so yeah, let's have a look at these graphs. Just a steady increase in terms of XP for Assail. No real back and forth. Oh, maybe we're going to see action here. I'm trying to show you the graphs, guys. I honestly am. It's just a bit tricky. Oh, call for the score. This was, well, it's a 2-game series, and this is currently the first game, so no score down yet. And it'll be this game and the next one, win, lose, or draw. And currently, it looks like it's going to be 2 wins for Assail. Lemonade Serenade with Firefly up, looping around the back line here on this top tier 1. Now he doesn't actually need to do anything. The threat of him being there, the fact that they know he's there from these napalms that are coming out is enough. That's honestly enough. He is a Hex, but we've got Zero Attitude coming straight in with the blink and the slow and the stun. The Phoenix ult is popped. Dire don't seem to care. They keep right clicking it and it goes down. Ember Spirit's rotating in though. This is a scary guy, and they don't have a huge amount of lockdown ready for him. Yes, they do. There's the lasso. They saved it. Beautiful play there from Assail. We've got another Dire creep wave just about to get in range of the tower, and as soon as it does, this will be the third tower. Okay, no, it was actually the 4th tower. Wow. Okay. So 4-4-1 when it comes to towers at the moment in favour of Assail. Ember Spirit not going to be up for another 20 seconds, and this is why I'm talking about the pressure that Assail can dish out. They are immediately going to rush off on this top tier 2, get it down to, well, I think probably just take it. They are going to have Lion and Vengeful coming in here very, very shortly. Zero Attitude does get the blink in, drops the silence on Sayonara. Another silence going down on the Lion, so he's not going to be able to turn around and help out at all. Lemonade jumps in, drops a blink, drops a bit of Firefly. But no big follow-up there, really. Dazzle picking up a Gem of True Sight. Interesting pickup. What am I missing here? Why the Gem of True Sight? It could, of course, just be for dewarding purposes. They don't have any big invis heroes themselves over on Dire, so they don't have to worry too much about giving that gem away. And with the lead they have, honestly, if they did give it away, they'd just kill and get it back or buy another one. Roche up somewhere in the next 1 to 4 minutes, so that's always nice to see. And this game really does just look like it's going one way to Rax. There was that early aggression from Mysterious Player, which got down the top tier 1, but it wasn't really aggression that got them anything. It was more just Batrider sacrificing the lane and choosing to jungle instead, which has worked out great for him. And the fact that the bot lane's been, quite often across the river, just in terms of the natural creep wave equilibrium, across the river, it's been great easy farm for the Dire supports as well. We've seen Death down there. Oh, as Lemonade manages to pick up the Lion on the back lines. Easy quick kill, but that's a lot of the CC down for Mysterious Player if they want to try and defend either this tier 2 or their high ground. Now, with Howl down, high ground with the Lion out, wow, missed that, but Phoenix finished off on the mid lane, and that's game. That right there, beyond, I think, any real hope of anything, is game. Because there is nothing that I can see that Mysterious Player can do to stop this being Rax. And once these Rax are down, it's just another toehold for the Dire team. Up until now, it's been very strongly, almost, basically, clearly over. And Weave drops down. Tower drops down. The Glyph finally popped, but we've had a couple other kills coming out across the map as well. Vengeful Spirit with 15 seconds to cool down now. And that means that Mysterious Player just aren't going to be able to go with their full team. We get the blink in from Puck. We've got Lemonade's Serenade trying to keep this Storm Spirit under DOT. And I don't know if they're going to get the kill on him, but they do manage to take out that Phoenix. Storm Spirit leaping back in, just immediately gets finished off. And that's GG well played for Assail there. Wow. Well, we had to wait a little bit for this game, traditional JDL nonsense, but yeah, that finished off pretty quickly there, straight down for Assail. Excellent play from them. I think the Lycan really made the game there, but basically, I mean, there's not a huge amount to say. They played better, they played their draft better, they responded better, and they steamrolled. This was the perfect example of a snowball draft. So many thanks for everybody for tuning in. There will be another game coming up next, as well as First Departure versus Burst coming up at 3 o'clock GMT. So please do like, follow, subscribe. I am seeing from the Twitch chat I need to zoom in and out a little bit less on the next match. I'll do my best, guys. Apologies for that. And yeah, stay tuned. Be right back stream coming up, but we'll be straight back in with the second lobby. Cheers, guys.
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Dire's ban.
Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for Game 2 of Mysterious Player vs. Assail, coming out of the JDL5 Asia 2 division. Wow, I think we all know how that first game went. It was totally in Assail's favour. A bit of toing and froing in maybe the first 5 minutes, the kills at about 2 to 3, fairly even. And actually Mysterious Player with the later scaling team, so potentially ahead arguably at that stage, but then Assail just started getting Roshans and towers and kills, and everything just steamrolled from there, which is kind of what I like to see on Lycan Draft, because that's what the hero excels at, that kind of snowball. Now we do see Assail, I think, doing the exact same two bans that they did previously, the IO and the Axe, and having seen their play in the previous match, you can kind of understand why. They want to be setting the pace early and mid. They don't want anybody to be able to get behind them and jump on them from behind while they're trying to set up with the Batrider, with whatever else we're going to be seeing coming out of them this game. But I have no doubt that we're going to be seeing high speed, high mobility, because that won them the previous game hands down. So the Batrider, maybe another Lycan. We shall see. Mysterious Player banning out the Juggernaut and the Omni Knight. The Juggernaut they banned out the previous game. The Omni Knight, I got to say, I think it probably is. Well, no, that's a very strange starting ban. Like, I'm trying to think of an early game carry that you would just insta-ban an Omni Knight against. I mean, there's a few, sure, you know, right-click damage. A lot of people do right-click damage. It could be that they're going for a physical draft, maybe with okay, the Ogre Mage for right-click buffs on whoever's carrying. I was going to say they could be going for something like a Death Prophet and a Witch Doctor, some big ults that that dish out the damage in physical damage, but I would have thought they'd pick it up now. It's just a very, very strange to ban out the Omni Knight early. I don't know. Maybe that's some SEA meta right there. Assail choosing to pick up the Dazzle for the second pickup. Love it again, and it's the exact same draft for Assail. Unless they have to, unless Mysterious Player really gets something there which they have to respond to, I honestly think they'd be quite happy going for, you know, picking up the Lycan again, grabbing a puck, and just steamrolling. They're steamrollers. Lots of time being taken for Assail here as they try and work out this next ban. It's really just a question of which hard carry buffed by Ogre Mage are they going to have the most difficulty jumping on. Ogre McGee. Now, I'm trying to work this out for myself. A Medusa could certainly be scary. Also adds a lot of tank to the position one, which makes it slightly more difficult for Batrider to initiate on, because obviously it's going to be that much harder to nuke away all of Medusa's health and all of Medusa's mana by the time Batrider actually, you know, by the time Lasso wears off. And the other thing about it, of course, is if you lasso that Medusa and pull her in, you're in huge danger of having Stone Gaze popped as soon as the Lasso wears off. And the same kind of principle with the Tide and Ravage, which is what Assail do go for on the ban. But I kind of think they could do with a Medusa. Mysterious Player with the ball back in their court for the first time in a while. Still got all their reserve time. Assail down to 1 minute 10.
10 seconds.
And the draft slowed down a little bit, and that kind of surprises me. Well, the thing that surprises me is that it's Assail who slowed it down. There's a certain strategy to be said of keeping the pressure on your opponents, just really trying to keep the draft going quickly, trying to keep the play going quickly, particularly after a game like that previous one with the Lycan, the Batrider, and the puck making the game over in 20 minutes. Mysterious Player banning out that Lycan. And Assail banning out the Brew. Certainly another hero that you, again, don't really want to lasso with the Batrider, just for the risk of the split as soon as the lasso wears off. And if they want to take it early, then perhaps they don't need to worry about the Medusa. The Medusa they can just shut down before they have to worry about her picking up her late game items. So okay, pin in the Medusa, fair play Assail. I guess maybe you're better drafters than me. I'm joking, by the way. I'm Division 5, these guys are Division 2. And we see, yeah, so that Brewmaster ban. I like it. Those are the two, I guess, early game people that you don't really want to lasso. But the question is, what do Mysterious Player do against a draft which, from Assail, really does look very, very similar to what they were doing before? They ban out the Viper, and that actually makes a little bit more sense to me now, I suppose. The Viper focus, because Assail are just so good at the early game. If you chuck a Viper on top of what they were doing the previous game, sure, if the game gets on to 90 minutes, then Assail will lose, but the game is never going to get on to 90 minutes. Viper also with decent amount of magic resistance against the Skywrath Mage, which is the only real nuke that Mysterious Player have at the moment. But we've got to see some cores coming out from these guys. They've got to pin themselves down into some strategy at some point, and they seem very, very reticent to do that right now. But I'm sure that will turn around. Down to 110 for their own reserve time now. And yeah, this is the reason why you see casters occasionally let the drafts go on to maybe have all of the first bans out, maybe a couple of the first few picks before they'll start the cast. Because if you get these big pauses, it gets a little bit tricky to keep the interest going. But 40 seconds left on the Mysterious Player reserve time, and we can't keep this going for very much longer. And this is, to be honest, what I was expecting at the start of the draft. Mysterious Player should really be on the back foot. I think Assail, I don't know, let the pressure up a little bit, waiting that extra 40 seconds before the Tide ban. Clockwork picked out for Mysterious Player, and I like that. It gives them some great initiation, and a huge amount of range and mobility as well. Once Clockwork gets that Ags with the 12-second cooldown, he just needs to be in the right kind of quarter of the map, and he'll be able to get in on anybody who gets lassoed by Batrider. Also, a great amount of counter push against Assail, who have been doing very good early strategies. Flare, of course, is great for clearing waves, and Cogs as well. Great for interrupting an early team fight by just splitting the enemy team up, isolating one, isolating two, and getting pickoffs that way with the rest of the team hiding behind the tower. Of course, my hesitation with Clock is always just that his CC isn't quite what it could be. He's somewhere in between damage, crowd control, and initiation. And he's not, in my mind, the best initiator, the best crowd control, or the best damage. So it's always tricky with the Clockwork, I think, to play it just right. Great combination with the Skywrath Mage, though, of course. If he can get that hook onto one, then the Skywrath Mage is guaranteed to get his ult down on one hero, and that is exactly the best way to get damage off it. Just seeing the score things being put out in the chats. So I'm just going to quickly type a quick response to that, because I unfortunately don't have any bots set up. They keep breaking. I need to fix that. And Assail picking up the Terrorblade. Now, interesting choice here. If memory serves, Mysterious Player went for a Terrorblade ban early, and I was a little bit surprised by it. Now I got to wonder whether Assail are picking it up now, kind of in response to that a little bit, as a kind of okay, you guys are scared of Terrorblade, maybe we'll go Terrorblade. They certainly are now entertaining the option of going late. Terrorblade actually can come online around the mid game, but his style of hero is a late game hero in that you farm him until he's awesome, and then you do terrible things with him. You don't try and run him as an early game hero. You don't try and do anything until you got the farm, and the rest of the team really focuses on making sure he can get effectively safe farm wherever he is.
10 seconds to go.
Faceless Void picked up for Mysterious Player.
5
It certainly gives some decent team fight. My concern for that is the Faceless Void Skywrath combo is not as good as people think. It's hard to get the it's hard. Well, first of all, not every chrono. You might catch the Skywrath Mage. The enemy that you catch might be at the other end of the chrono from the Skywrath Mage, so they're not going to be able to get round. But also, if you catch multiple heroes, Skywrath Mage ult splits the damage between all the heroes. So that's why I was saying I might prefer Skywrath Mage with Clockwork. Clockwork goes in, catches one, Skywrath Mage ult, and that's terrible. But Skywrath and Faceless is a little sketchier. The other thing about Chrono is I'm just struggling to see how it's going to work with the Clockwork. You generally want... Well, it's tricky. It's not awful. It's not awful, but it'll certainly be the case of Clockwork getting caught in those chronospheres a lot as well.
10 seconds to go.
And that's obviously not great for him. I think they're the better way to do it if they can get away with it, but I don't think Assail are going to group up enough to give them the opportunity for this. Would be to go in with the Faceless Void, drop the Chrono, and then use a Clockwork Hook to either go in behind, catch any supports who are still free and doing damage to the Void in the Chrono, or once the Chrono is down, use the Clockwork to catch, to secure the kills, to clean up afterwards, I guess. Assail going for the Puck again, so a very, very similar draft to what they had last time. It really is just Terrorblade rather than Lycan so far. And I suppose the Dazzle was a Skyrath Mage. But it's interesting as well because Terrorblade in many ways can be played a bit like a Lycan. You go for illusions rather than the wolf summons, sure. But what you're effectively doing is trying to farm up, get fast, and have a big presence in team fights if you can come in when you want and not be initiated on, but also just split push all the rest of the time, while at the same time farming incredibly fast. So it's going to be interesting to see, for me, to see whether Assail are going to play this game pretty much the exact same way they did the previous one, or whether they're going to come out with some different way to run it. But 4 Protect 1 to me, especially with Batrider and Puck, is going to be the ideal way to farm up this Terrorblade. Mysterious Player going for the Templar Assassin, their next pickup. It's certainly the range damage that they need to take advantage of the Chronosphere. But of course, even with Psyblades, Templar's Assassin range isn't hugely impressive. So it does make me concerned that Mysterious Player aren't going to have the range they need to really take advantage of the Chronospheres that they can drop, even if they're great. EYK005, good point in the chat that Terra can certainly be a mid-game hero, can certainly do huge things. What I mean by he's being a carry-style hero is, I think you farm him and then you do stuff. And he's a great hero because you can actually get him hugely farmed by the mid-game. You're absolutely right. But he's not one of your, he's not Batrider. He's not going to be able to, get level 1 kills. Well, actually he can't get level 1 kills. Never mind, forget it, let's carry on with this game because we are just going to kick off. But, Terrorblade, I think, going to be having pretty much a very fun game for Psionics. It's going to be farm, and then everyone's going to be paying attention to him.
5 seconds.
Just waiting for the last player to pick up their hero. There we go, and we are straight back in for this game too. So let's introduce the teams. Over here on Assail, we have got Death taking the Dazzle. Batrider going to be played again by Lemonade Serenade. The Terrorblade heading over to bottom is going to be played by Psionics. We have got Zero Attitude taking the mid Puck, and finally Witch Doctor going to be played by Vexus, going down bottom as well with this Terrorblade. And I'm wondering, yeah, it does kind of look to me a little bit like Batrider's going to be jungling again. It may well be another sacrificed offlane, and that's slightly scarier on a Void than it was last game on the Storm Spirit. But it certainly has been working for Assail. They've been managing to secure a much more farm. Over on the Dire side, we have got Ogre Mage going to be played by Mr. D. Templar Assassin going to be played by Jacqueline. Skyrath Mage going to be played by Kuhn. Void going to be played by Triple Z. And finally the offlane Clockwork going to be played by Sayonara. And I'm wondering whether I might have misjudged these lanes. I was assuming that what we were going to be seeing coming out from Dire was going to be a fairly traditional defensive tri-lane, but I'm not sure that's actually the case. Still not entirely sure where the Skyrath is going, and maybe the Ogre is just up here to help secure top rune, although it would be dangerous to do so with all these Radiant heroes around. But we might be seeing some kind of aggro try, or at least dual lanes coming out here from the Dire. No, we're not. As Mr. D rotates back up to top lane. And I've got to say, if I was a Clockwork, I would be saying, yeah, I don't really want an Ogre Mage in my lane. There's not really much he can do for me. Not really compatible heroes in terms of what they offer. And also, it's just going to slow down Clockwork 6. So, fairly thankful, for me anyway, that we're getting this. And we've got both teams actually trying to get action on the mid. Death running in, drops his slow down on the TA, and that's going to get rid of her refraction charges incredibly quickly. And as he backs out, that might actually be the entire purpose of that rotation in there. Just make sure that those refraction charges go down, chase TA back for at least the first wave, and give Puck a little bit of a head start. Vexus getting damage on Sayonara. And Witch Doctor, another one of those supports who's actually kind of painful to take a harass from in the early game. Up on top lane, Void with complete free farm. is certainly, hopefully, going to be leading out these last hits. And it almost looks like both teams want to run a dual mid, as we see the Dazzle and the Ogre Mage both hanging around, looking to go in on these guys. But at the moment anyway, it's all just posturing. Nobody even really getting close for a kill. Batrider having so much fun over here in the jungle. That's a wand out for him now as well, I think. No, so wand? What am I talking about? That was just what was on the courier. Going out to Clockwork. Sayonara with Stout Shield and Quelling Blade. Yeah, he's anticipating completely free farm against his Clockwork, and I got no doubt he's going to get it. Some nice lane control there, making sure that the equilibrium doesn't get too far down to be under the tower. That of course makes it slightly trickier to last hit, and we've got a haste on this Witch Doctor. Coming in behind the Clockwork, does drop the cask. There's a Maledict, and now trying to right click. Do we have any help coming out from Sayonara though? There's the slow illusion. Vexus being brought low though. Maledict I think might finish him off here. Sayonara, no, he survives. Not quite enough damage coming out there during the Maledict time. As action on mid goes down. Zero attitude. I think happy to just be leading the CS here. Doesn't need to be going in for crazy kills, especially when he's also forcing the Ogre Mage to stay up here supporting the TA on the mid. He's effectively winning a solo lane against a pair, and that's a great place to be. Dazzle, again, we're seeing him rotating up to the off lane with really just his fairly strong right click and soaking up a little bit of XP and gold for himself for a little while. Going to be seeing him rotating out now, and this really is free farm for the Faceless Void. That is the only concern I've got. Again, we need a shout out for the Assail safe laner, as despite Mysterious player having a completely free safe lane, Terrorblade, just as Lycan was ahead of the Faceless Void.
Dire's top tower is under siege.
He's going to miss that one though. Well, as action comes down on mid, Jacqueline actually in a little bit of trouble here. No more refraction charges for her under the effect of this Dazzle poison. A flare comes in from Clockwork though. And no kills. No kills as of yet. Although up on top lane... Oh, whew. Sorry, I thought there was some huge action going down on top lane and they were about to die void. But actually it was his own support. So well played, support. Witch Doctor moving out. Going to secure bot rune. And that's really going to be kind of nasty for TA.
I'll take that.
How much mana does she have? Absolutely nothing. No bottle charges for you. As Clockwork's brought low again and taking a lot to harass. This time it will be a kill. Does pop Battery Assault to get some damage down on Psionics. But gives away first blood. Goes away of Vexus, who's almost got his mana boots finished already at less than 5 minutes into the game. And we see a rotation here coming out from Mysterious player as they try and sneak two players down behind this Dazzle. Mr. D and Kuhn on the Skywrath Mage, they've been revealed now. They're dropping the silence, they're dropping the nukes as Triple Z's come in for the right clicks as well. Death does manage to last out the silence, so drops his heal, drops Shallow Grave, and at the very least he's going to be able to hold up the Dire heroes here. But he does eventually fall. Over on the mid, Zero Attitude again. Oh, this time diving right down on Jacqueline. I think probably scouting out the mana and realizing that there's nothing she can do to stop him here. And she actually runs back out past the tower, which is going to give him quite a nice opportunity to get more right clicks without taking too much harass. But rotations in, force the puck out, and no big kills. Clockwork actually came down there looking for a pick off on the puck, but was not to get it. And level 2 Clockwork. That's not fun. Yeah, I'm actually kind of impressed he's only... Oh, Batrider going down. Missed that. I assume that was just to a neutral creep. Yeah. So that was just one of the cheap giveaway kills you do. Just to respawn, get your mana and health back up. Zero Attitude being dove here on the mid. The silence is down. But with the beautiful phase shift there on the nuke from Jacqueline, I don't think they're going to be able to take out this puck. Yeah, he's turning around and now suddenly it's Jacqueline who's going to be giving up the kill. That silence just was not quite quite long enough yet to deal with a puck. I mean, against a less skilled player, it would have been absolutely perfect. But with that beautiful phase shift on that massive nuke that would certainly have killed him, Puck managed to stay alive on that one. And 3 for 2 for Assail, with one of Mysterious Player's kills being the Bat self-deny in the jungle. This is again looking the way Assail wanted to go. And the other thing, of course, when you compare it to the first game, is they've got a Terrorblade who's farming up perfectly happily. And looks like this is going to be a Terrorblade building more the way that EYK was talking about. Very early game. We're not seeing any hint of a Midas. Might be seeing drums coming out next, something similar. But effectively just looking to go early. And I love this this lane control that he's doing here. He's making sure that the creep wave never gets down under his own tower, because that just means he's probably going to miss some last hits.
No, they are.
And you know, normally people are great at pushing the lane. Oh, as they go on Sayonara, he's level, must be 3 by now. Nope, still level 2. This is bad. But the dire supports are rotating in as well, and they are actually going to be able to nuke down Vexus. Didn't manage to get the kill on the core though, which is not ideal. And 3-3. Nicely played there from Mysterious Player. I think it was a little bit more luck than skill, and we're actually going to see, I think, probably the Manta style coming off that Elven skin on this Terrorblade. Get those illusions down, get more stats, and that's the way you play illusion heroes, basically. Action on the mid, but I don't think we're going to be seeing a kill anytime soon. Nice orbs coming out to give this Puck just a little bit more vision to help him drop his illusory orbs and secure last hits with them. Last hits on heroes, that is, sorry. So kills, I suppose you would traditionally call them. TA gonna head top, desperately wants a rune this time. Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? Who's gonna get it? And it's death on the Dazzle. Just immediately pops Shallow Grave and TP's out. So no advantage on that. DD didn't get any damage down, but stealing it from this TA, who must be cursing the day that she brought Bottle. Having to actually bottle crow, and since we started seeing these, you know, double runes every 2 minutes, really don't see as much bottle crowing these days. Or at least when you see it, it's a sign that something isn't going too right. Now, Zero Attitude without a huge amount of mana here. Actually, that would have been a good time for Jacqueline to try and get a couple of right clicks down. Force out the waning rift, and that just makes it pretty much guaranteed that there's not going to be enough mana left for an illusory orb. Zero Attitude, of course, didn't get a bottle there either. The Witch Doctor had to take it just to deny it to the TA. So going to be bottle crowing as well. And the Metamorphed Illusions down here on the bot lane. So much damage coming out of these things. As oh, and Parkfin does manage to finish off the TA with a bit of help from with a little bit of help from her friends. And that's always great. How is Batrider's item progression going? That's really going to be key. Does have the blink up. I believe it was a Tranquil's build that we saw in the previous game. Not too much concern for mana here from Lemonade Serenade. And when you're a fair enough distance above, in terms of skill level, above the enemy team, which does seem to be the case here, at least in terms of the Batrider, that's kind of justified. Because what you can try and do is you heal up a base, you go out, you get a kill, you go back to base. It's a little bit like how you play Spirit Breaker. As we do see TA rotating bottom. They really want to kill this Terrorblade. Unfortunately, only Vexus left in the lane. Does get hit by the TA slow. Hit by the Clockwork Flare. But he just backed off quick enough there that Dire had no chance to dive him. And Terrorblade is rotating back into the lane. Going to help defend this. Actually going to run into Ogre McGee here over here in the jungle. And that's going to make his rotation under the tower a little bit slower. In fact, Terrorblade's just going to go straight back up into the jungle. Fair enough, friend. And falling behind the Faceless Void now, as we see Faceless Void picking up Midas and Mask of Madness. Both great items for farming, whether it be the jungle or the lane. Zero Attitude with an Invis Rune here is going to be in a good position to catch out Mr. D. But the only question is, how close are his team? Okay, they're far away. They can get a kill here. Death Ward comes out as well. There's the stun coming out from Puck. We do have Sayonara rotating in. Drops Cogs down on Zero Attitude, but just immediately Illusory Orb is out. But finished off himself. So 1 for 1 with the mid actually going down for Assail. Only a support kill on Mysterious Player in return. So definitely a fight in favour of Mysterious Player. I did like that Puck Deathward combo though. That was fun. Even if it didn't end up working, it was a really nice fun. Oh, and hey Dust and Shadow. Good to see you guys in chat. Sorry, with the way Assail are playing, I'm having to keep my eyes fixed pretty firmly when not on the game, at least on the minimap. So I'm going to be pretty bad at checking Twitch chat. And Vexus looking to kind of just solo run the push down here. Ends up in danger from this Skywrath Mage. But the Batrider's there for the cover, and that's a huge amount of damage down on Kuhn. And that's a kill. Now, I think, honestly, Skywrath Mage was doing the right thing there. It was a good opportunity to try for a kill on the Witch Doctor. If Clockwork had managed to get his 6 in lane, easy kill. It was a mixture of bad luck that the bat was so close, and just the problem with not having farm when your Clockwork doesn't have 6. More than most heroes, I think, his ult kind of defines him. Even Faceless Void, you can bring him into a team fight, and just with Time Walk, the slow on Time Walk and Bash, you can have a presence at any point in the game. It's tricky to do amazing things, but you can have a presence. As Death is being brought hugely low here by Jacqueline. Does pop a bit of an early shallow grave here, but it's going to cover him as he just immediately TPs out. Save giving up the kill. And it's going to be a bit of a long walk of shame for him to get back all the way back out to the lanes. But better than feeding that TA, who is heading towards drums as her next item. In fact, we might have an opportunity here to look at the graphs, guys. No guarantees, because both these teams have a lot of early kill potential, but I'll do my best. We do have a lead for Assail, but it has been clawed back a little bit by Mysterious Player in the last few minutes. On the XP graph, pretty much the same kind of story. But certainly not what we were seeing in the previous game, with Assail just at about the 5-minute mark, just beginning to tear ahead. And Tim finishing off Faceless Void up on top lane. Maybe this is where they start tearing ahead. I don't know. What was doing the damage on that? Was it Death Ward again? Yeah, Death Ward dropped down, so they won't have that for the next fight. And Puck getting a nice bit of wave push out on top. It's not really going to make up for their bot tier 1 though, which is going to go down to Jacqueline and Sayonara's push. Mr. D hanging around in the trees there. But if they can go 1 for 1 now, I'd call that kind of worth it, for the simple reason that that bot tier 1 on Radiant had already taken a decent amount of damage. So if they can do a push that takes the full health top tier 1 in exchange for just letting that half tier 1 go, that's a fair trade. And it's weird, Assail seems to be playing early games, but early games normally depend on towers. Assail seems to be fairly happy giving away towers. Clockwork looking for a hook here on the Dazzle. And we are seeing a lot of rotations coming out here from Dire. It looks like they want to get a push over on the mid lane and use that as pressure to stop the Radiant push on the top. As we do see Puck rotating in. Witch Doctor, I mean, this does deserve a shout out. Witch Doctor just hiding in the trees. Just loving it. Ogre McGee kicking himself if he watches a replay here. And we've got a smoke coming out actually from the Dire team. Just zooming out a bit so I can keep view of what's going on mid as Death pushes that up. And it's actually going to be a Roche attempt. Now this seems a little bit early from me. But I'm not a huge TA player. There are eccentricities I don't know. As we see the Puck and the Witch Doctor coming out of the trees over here on mid, backed up by Lemonade Serenade, and that's a dead Mr. D. Of course, that kind of space, completely worth it. Ah, there we go. Triple Z coming in as well to offer a few bashes, and that will easily make this Roche Assail's property, Assail's latest victim. And it looks like they want to move on to the mid lane straight away. Ah, I do apologise. Mysterious Player. What am I talking about? It was Mysterious Player's Roche. So 8 for 5. A little bit behind on the XP and gold graphs, but with an Aegis in the pocket. 1 tower lead. Looking to get the last tier 1 down next for their next big play, I would expect. And Terrorblade again overtaking the Faceless Void. It's been back and forth between those two in terms of the last hits denies. Gonna switch over to net worth because it's one of those games. In my opinion, we're going to be seeing a lot of random kills, a lot of kill streaks being built up before the 30-minute mark, and there's going to be a lot of jungle farming going on across the map as well, which throws off the value of a last hit chart, in my opinion. Mid tier 1 going down on mid. Clockwork getting the deny. I actually missed the action that led to that, but tower's now equaled up, and Clockwork left down on the bot lane to push. Does have Puck coming in and looking for something. Spotted out by the Dire Ward there though, so no kill for Zero Attitude. Mr. D looking to push up on mid lane. And we've got Triple Z and Kuhn rotating him from the from a little bit further down the lane as well. Vexus with the cask farm. Gotta love it when you get that tomato potato camp as Witch Doctor. Bat Rider here, possibly in danger from Clockwork, who's doing a little bit of a Witch Doctor trick here, just pretending to have retreated out of lane, in fact just hiding in the trees.
Middle tower is under attack. Not that I
And a
care one
big
way or
smoke
the
coming
other.
down here from Dire. I gotta zoom out here, guys, because there's a lot of places people can go. Jacqueline pops the refraction. They're expecting the fight, and we do have Sayonara jumping down and finishing off Lemonade Serenade. So no Bat Rider for this next fight. I've got to say, Mysterious Player putting up a much better showing than they did in the previous game. The TA slow does manage to land on the puck, but blink away, and nothing that can be done to stop it. Looks like Radiant aren't going to be able to get out of this with only the Bat Rider down. Good initiation there from Sayonara, but I think viewers that we're going to be seeing a little bit of a more interesting game here. I'm still my personal prediction is still that at some point Terrorblade is just going to come online and just start wrecking face, and at that point it'll start going the way the previous match did when the Lycan came online. But up until then, it's going to be a lot more tricky, and even with that, Mysterious Player are making better plays. They've got more flexibility. They haven't even dropped a chrono yet that I've seen. This might be oh, and the lasso Lemonade Serenade respawns and finds Triple Z on the back lines. Beautiful play. The Death Ward comes down, doing huge damage now to Sayonara, as well as a TA, who is just going to lose the Aegis for that. Now wants to take a move on Death. No, just looking to run out on this mid lane. Puck finishing off the Clockwork on the back lines, but it's Jacqueline who's still trying to get away. Maledict goes down. Refraction popped, and that's going to keep the TA alive, as well as see a kill go down on the Dazzle as Skywrath Mage comes in to support. But that's going to get him in trouble. Lemonade Serenade, after getting killed in the jungle and picked off, he came back in mad as hell for this team fight, looking to get all the kills. And we've also got Terrorblade pushing up on the top lane. I don't think we're going to be seeing buybacks coming out from Dire. It's a little bit early in the game, most games anyway, for you to have to worry about that. So personally, I'd kind of like to see Terrorblade. Where you going, Psionics? Hit this thing! But no, the respawns are coming. They're going to play it cautious. But still, even in addition to the 5-man wipe that Assail just got, that's half the damage down on the top tier 3. And that's a real blow at less than 20 minutes into the game. Net worth, well, I don't think we're going to be seeing Triple Z and Psionics really competing on the farm anymore. It's going to be this Terrorblade all the way. He's farming 2 lanes at a time on the bot down here. Manta is up with 3,000 gold in the bank as well. I'm probably going to be seeing that going to normally I would say Butterfly, but this is a very early game and Sanjin Yasha might actually be able to offer a bit of utility. Either way, it's got to be a strong stats item. Yeah, honestly, I might like a Sanjin Yasha here. It's I'm not sure. But I'm going to be paying very close attention, and I assume saving up 3.4k. I assume we are going to be seeing the Butterfly coming out on him. Lemonade Serenade gets a blink and manages to catch Mr. D. They dropped the Death Ward as well for it. That was a little bit unnecessary, friends. But hey, a kill's a kill. They all wanted it, and that takes him up to 14 for 7. Who actually did the most damage there? Was it Death Ward? No, it was okay. Death Ward not showing up as having done any damage. That's a thing. That's a thing. Beautiful play here from the Radiant team. They're really just trying to get into position because they know that someone on Dire, and it turns out it's going to be Jacqueline, is going to come out here and try and farm this wave fairly soon. Maybe try and take out that Terrorblade illusion. Maybe do something else. But so they're setting up. They're waiting in the jungle. We've got Batrider over here. Witch Doctor as well. Oh, and Faceless Void, possibly the one in danger. Batrider spots him out. Triple Z just trying to innocently farm his Ancients. And Batrider actually shows, gives the game away, and Faceless Void just time walks out. Now we're seeing huge grouping here of all of the Dire heroes in this quadrant of the map, as well as a large number of Radiant ones, although they're on the retreat right now. But the significant thing for those of you watching the minimap, of course, is all the way over here. Terrorblade, total free farm on him. And where's this? What's going on? Oh, he's going Skadi. That, of course, I suppose is the other option. And he had the farm for it. Beautiful stats. Gives a nice orb. Oh, and Sayonara screwing up the hook. That means they're not going to be able to catch death. And actually, with... oh, this is not looking good, actually. Beautiful death ward there from Vexus. And that's a 5-man wipe. Wow. I thought that was a little bit overbold for a second there. I thought Lemonade Serenade might have leased that Void a little bit early and be dragging him actually just into a perfect place for a chrono. But that is not what happened. Even with the cogs coming down there to try and disrupt the Assail's teamfight, just a beautiful, beautiful death ward there from Vexus. With the Ags up, with the bouncers. And that's game. Again, well played to Assail. And the GGs ain't been called yet, but unless someone in chat disagrees with me, I think this is going to be game.
Dire's bottom tower has been destroyed.
Terrorblade Illusion's doing more damage to that tier 3 up on top, and that catapult is going to stay alive through another wave of creeps, which is just great, just exactly what you want on your catapult, really. And now we get huge items coming out on the Radiant team. We've got Blink Witch Doctor, Blink Ags Witch Doctor. You know, next time SU can only be BKB, and he's Jesus Christ, already 1,500 gold on the way towards that. Let's have another look at those graphs as we see the scaling really beginning to happen here. And it was about 5 minutes ago that the game just started to turn around. Lemonade Serenade does manage to catch Sayonara here. We will probably see a cogs come out. Oh no, we won't. There's just not enough time. And the Red Hoof Courier that's been coming out from the New Bloom event. First time I've actually seen it in game. Not that that's hugely interesting, really, just thought I'd mention it. Dire grouping up here on this mid tier 2 to try and defend. Maybe we'll see the first Chronosphere of the game. Hwah! And honestly, like a good Chronosphere could make a difference here. Of course, it's got to catch Bat, it's got to catch Puck, it's got to catch Witch Doctor, it's got to catch Dazzle, and it's got to catch Terrorblade. So, okay, it's pretty tricky now that I think about it. But oh, Zero Attitude with the beautiful Puck initiation gets a Dream Coil of Dreams down. Faceless Void chooses to eat the stun and just go in here for a kill. But the Shallow Grave comes out in Lemonade Serenade. And that's going to see Faceless Void retreating. Clockwork finished off within his cogs. Zero Attitude manages to chase down the Skywrath Mage. Only 2 kills here right now for Assail, but you know that's the state of the game. Where you're saying, oh, they only managed to get 2 of those kills. They could have got more. And 22 for 7. So we kind of had a bit of back and forth for the early game. Assail seemed to do the same trick of just kind of abandoning the off lane. Getting the blink up quickly on the bat in the jungle. And then just, there comes that point where the switch turns on. The strategy is in full effect. And you start seeing things like this. Dire do seem to want to go in here. They don't have a chrono. And unfortunately Mr. D getting picked off there. Puck with his Dagon. What level is that Dagon? Level 3. So still got a bit of scaling to do on the Puck. And they're just going to rotate straight onto the top lane with the tower already almost down. Got a bunch of melee illusions here on the Terrorblade, which of course is not ideal, but you know, nobody's really going to be pointing fingers at Assail after the end of this. And Mr. D, captain and mysterious player, calls the GG. And GG it was. Puck desperately trying to get one last kill before the game ends and does get it on the Skywrath Mage. Wow. Well played teams. I think it's fair enough to say well played Assail, slightly more than well played Mysterious Player. But as I said at the beginning, they're the team with a bit more experience. They're a team with a few more wins and matches under their belt in the JDL, and they proved that here. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure having you guys on here. Please do like, follow, subscribe. That helps us get into bigger tournaments, better tournaments. And please do stay tuned as well, because we have got First Departure versus Burst coming up at 3 o'clock my time, which is, oh Jesus Maloney, that's in an hour. Wow, these games ended quickly. Okay, well, in that case, please do tune back in again in an hour, and we will be coming up for first. We'll be going live with First Departure versus Burst. I'm not going to keep the stream on for an hour on the Be Right Back screen, so I will see you guys very soon, I hope. Have a good day. Ciao.